Alright, hello and welcome. Hi YouTube, hi everyone watching this. I did want to make a video as a shout out to YouTube's fantastic trans girls, or maybe the entire queer web. People who have inspired me, who have helped me, who have been lighthouses in bringing me to my transition, helping me realize who I am, helping me allow to identify. But as it turns out, I talked a lot about other stuff and I'm gonna first upload that. So now this video is about something else. And I will soon make a video with a shout out to the web's fantastic queer people who give so much to the community and who inspire me to want to give back. Coming soon. What I do feel after having started HRT is that I feel I can really much easier fall into my natural identity as a female or mostly female person. However, gender is a spectrum and nobody's 100% this or that. Even though I find myself surprisingly binary for being someone who has the conviction that things don't need to be binary. I for sure have let go of so many worries and doubts which I had just before I really took the decision to start HRT. I have really been thinking back and forth and it's been too crazy for me. I didn't know how to ever decide. I didn't know how to ever know how you feel ready, how you feel like now I'm sure I really want to do it and it's not going to destroy all my life and it's going to turn out well and I'm going to be okay and yeah, it will be good. Optimism. And I mean, often you hear it's either transition or suicide, and I didn't really want to let it come to that. Okay, let me just stop myself there for a second and say, being able to say something like that is actually an insane privilege, and I am really aware of that privilege, and I should talk about this somewhat more because there is much more to say. So I can only be super grateful for circumstances that I didn't influence that allow me to say things like that, to not be suicidal, to have the ability to go to a psychologist, to have the ability to transition, to be able to have health insurance that pays for it. It's all very amazing, and it's it is a huge privilege, and I need to acknowledge that at this point and continue. I think I have seen that my dysphoria got worse and worse, especially since I've been really out to myself and allowing myself to feel who I am. So I could see that my happiness decreased the more I realized how much I'm female and how much I look male and how that just disconnects so much. But still, I haven't been suicidal, and that makes the decision surprisingly hard because you just don't know how much you have to lose and how much you have to win, because no one can tell you how will you look, how will things be, will you pass, will you not pass, will you care about passing? And let's also not forget that hormones, of course, change very much the way you think, the way you feel, you perceive emotions, you perceive interpersonal relationships. There is so much more than just passing and how you look. Important point. Will you be accepted by the world? Will you just suffer? Will you be unemployed? Will you have any chance at a romantic relationship that you will be happy in? Well, lots of worries, but whenever I was thinking or feeling back and forth, and usually I was feeling I'm so gonna do it whenever I was energetic and awake and happy, and just when I got tired, when I was sleepy, when I was ill, I was like, no, leave me alone with this shit. I don't want to deal with this gender crap anymore. I'm done with this. Fuck it. Well, but it always came down to I just wasn't able to not want it. Like this urge to finally really become me. It was so much stronger than all the worries and of course what really helped were all these also very positive pre-HRT transition experiences. Like I'm thinking I did transition seriously, not from the first day of HRT, but a real transition from the day I came out to myself. Because it's been an amazing journey since then, and it's wow, just wow, like this amount of acceptance of friends, and of course it's not been all like pink and fluffy, and there have been problems and issues, but still, like it just was so insanely much better than I would ever imagine and fear and worry. And well, yeah, if you're like in this place where you don't know if you want to come out because you're scared that people will stop liking you, just like fucking do it. It's so worth it. Another thing I need to say here though is be safe. If there's an immediate risk of being a victim of violence, if you come out in the situation where you are right now, or if you cannot because your parents will throw you out of your house or things like that, if you're in a position where you cannot come out right now, then what you need to do is to work towards a better place. Do what you can do to get somewhere where you can come out. Don't stay. Like, find a way. There is a way. There's always a way of some kind. And it might take time. It might take tears and suffering and worry. But in the end, you need to be yourself. So give the time that it needs to do it safely. This is very important. But if you live in a Western country, in a more or less open society, yeah, you probably worry also more than you really realistically should. I have worried like crazy, and I have been very afraid of reactions of friends. I have been very afraid of not being taken seriously and being laughed at, really. Being laughed at for being myself. And it turns out I worried far too much. So you will know. Feel encouraged and be safe. You will know if it's the right time, or when it's the right time, or what you have to do so that you can come out. Like you have to struggle, you have to fight sometimes. You have to realize who are your real friends. Like, I mean, many girls on YouTube have said this before, like, you will lose friends. Yeah, you will lose friends, but you won't lose actual friends. You will lose people who you thought were your friends, but they can't really deal with your reality, your gender mess. Well, but you're born this way, and if they cannot accept you, then what is it worth having them in your life? Well, but yeah, mostly I think in 2016 we live in a society where privilege alarm! Things have changed so much, and things are changing so quickly, so dramatically, and like the what was it called? The transgender tipping point in Time magazine with Laverne Cox on the cover. Yeah, that is happening. That is really happening, and we're being part of this, and we're living in this amazing age where the transgender tipping point is happening. And I think that's the only way I was able to come out is because now I feel like there was more hope than worry. And all these years before, I mean, I've just not been able to I've not been able to dare admit to myself who I am because of consequences, because I knew if I will really come out to myself, if I will really look into what do all these gendery feelings mean, it would have consequences that would like change my life, and that would not only touch me but would touch all my surroundings, all the people that are around me and that do care about me or maybe don't care about me. And I just couldn't dare to cause this storm that now happened. And it's been such an amazing storm of roller coaster, up and down and high and low, but amazing, fantastic. I'm so happy I came out, you cannot imagine. So yeah, what about employment? What about romantic partnerships? I'm really sure that these things have become more difficult with realizing that I'm not cisgendered. There is stigma in the world that will maybe cause me sometimes to regret being out, to regret transitioning, and to like hate being trans. But you know, like the thing is about coming out, even if I wouldn't have come out, and even if I would decide not to transition, I would still be trans, and there is no way to change that. Like it's a thing of like accepting your fate in some way. I don't like fate, but yeah, your reality of being trans is you gotta work with what you have and make the best out of it, and see all these like benefits you get. See how you can see the world from so many different angles, so many gendery angles, so much living like a girl experience, living a boy experience, living a trans experience, living for a while actually what you thought was a cis experience, but then you realize you're not cis, so all what you had before actually was a trans experience. So, well, these issues that I mentioned, employment, partnership, I will overcome these. I will work through them, and I will come out of them stronger than before. And I guess the same applies to you if you're like not there yet. And I'm sure you can confirm if you have been there already. If you're further in your transition and you've gone this path and you're looking at me and thinking like, oh, what a baby queer, how cute. Or like, what the fuck is this girl talking? Like, stupid, silly. Well, yeah, I'm silly because I'm really at the beginning and I know that, and I'm enjoying my freaking puberty. Second one, the right one this time. I guess I'm intelligent and experienced enough to find employment, to earn money, and I believe that I'm lovable, that I'm capable of loving others, and that even more now that like coming out to myself and to the world and transitioning takes such a burden off my shoulders that like I can tackle the new stones that are being thrown onto my path by society, by prejudice, by stigma. You know, once you realize yourself, I think you gain so much power that before like was energy that you spent on trying to fulfill this role that isn't really meant for you, and battling like these feelings of like just you're not masculine enough to keep up with all these guys that are just being naturally men, and you always feel like something's wrong and people expect you to be a guy and you're just like not knowing really what they want from you and how to do it. And it takes a lot of energy, and this energy is free. Like now I can do so many different things, and it shows in like a lot of creativity that's now bubbling inside me, in dance pieces I want to create, solely maybe duets I want to create. I feel I have so much to tell the world and to give, to have a dialogue, to be part of the discussion. And we all should be. We all should have a say. We all are people, and let's free ourselves from like these gendery roles and prisons that we live in, and just be ourselves and free all this energy that we can use for good. That's really what I wish for us. And with this note, I would like to close this video and to thank you for watching, and to say, if you liked it, give me a like. If you have a comment and it's nice and constructive, comment or send me a message if it's more private, and subscribe if you want to hear more of my thoughts on my transition, on society, on being queer, on being trans, on how things change in me and outside of me. Subscribe and you will hear more. Ciao!